Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is week two of the 5-week crash course where we're going to be discussing placement, home care, assisted living, consulting, and the importance of building a community network through with our community liaison session. So today we're going to be talking about home care, and I want to apologize because my power been out. We were supposed to have this session last night. Power been crazy. I'm just going to record it here, and then we can kind of catch up throughout the week if you guys want to have a more in-depth discussion about what's going to be covered today. So feel free to as this course as we cover this week's training, take notes. If you have questions, take your questions, and then also feel free to post your questions in the group. I get notifications from the private group, and then also let me know if you guys have questions that you want to speak to me directly with, and then we could just we could schedule a phone call or Zoom or something like that. So, like I said, we're gonna talk about home care today and launch your private pay home care agency. Every home care client is a business milestone. That's what we're gonna be talking about today. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Ooh, so- Private pay. We really like private pay and long-term care insurance over what a lot of people talk about Medicaid and Medicare and stuff like that. Believe it or not, I've been doing this business for over 10 years now, and I've never used anything but private pay and long-term care insurance. How have I been able to pull this off? Is by focusing on specific zip codes in my marketplace. We'll get into that lately a little later, but the benefits of private pay is there's no billing delays, more flexible pricing, and faster payment. And that's all three of those things are very important when you first getting started and as you grow, Um from my understanding, there's a lot of hangups and stuff like that when it comes to Medicaid, Medicare. Um, you know, there's a lot of paperwork and there's a lot of, back and forth with the government being involved with how you get paid. And that's just something I've never been comfortable with. And, I just never wanted to put that in place because I didn't have to. Maybe if it was I felt like at certain points I thought I would have to, and I did go down that road. But as far as like the process of getting certified, but my personal agency, we just never needed it. We always started with private pay, really focused on referrals, really focused on other forms of marketing to keep the phone ringing, and we marketed our services to play people who can afford it, and that's what's always been the advantage and what's kept us in business for all these years. So yeah, just this is the kind of this training is going to be more focused on home care from a private pay perspective. Obviously, we know the demand. What's the amount of people who need these services in the country. So it's not just a Maryland thing or your city thing or wherever you're located. It's a national thing. It's a national industry that's is in high demand. And it's not going anywhere. Um, so it's a perfect time to get in this business. And again, and like I always tell people when they first get started, like don't look at it like, okay, all these different companies is out here, all these different franchises out here, everybody getting licensed, but it's like it's so many people who need care. It's so many people that need care. And then it's like if you're doing the work and you're taking the steps, you're gonna find your three, five, eight, 10 clients that could really change the trajectory of your life in your finances, like in a major way. Like three full-time clients could do big thing for your company. It could do a big thing for your finances. It could do a lot of, you could make a lot of difference with 3 to 5 to 10 clients. If you have a agency and you only had, say, 5 clients in your first year, that's a good agency. If you can get 5 clients, if you get a full time, a part time, a live in, and another full time and another live in, and you got 5 of those, you got 5 clients, and you can sustain that. One fall off, you get another one. One fall off, you might go to 6, you might go to 4, you might go to 7, you might go to 3, but you're right back. You're kind of like averaging 5. You'll do well. You'll do well, especially in your first year, and because you're not going to have no huge overhead like these franchises and these bigger companies. They struggle because it's a lot of things you can do that they can't do. You could charge less. You know what I mean? You could cover shifts a lot better most of the times because you have caregivers dedicated. You might have 2 or 3 dedicated caregivers where they got thousands of caregivers or hundreds of caregivers, and they just sending 2 or 3 caregivers to the same house. And them families is getting fed up with that. They don't like that. Most families don't like that, and that's an advantage you got. Another advantage you got is um you can charge less. You know what I mean? Everybody in the market trying to. It seemed like no matter, that's been my major thing since the beginning was I always charge like less than most agencies in my market. So I go after the most expensive. I go into the wealthiest communities and I charge the least. You'll be surprised that people with money don't like to spend their money. And if all they see is agencies charging $35 an hour, $300 for a live-in a day, and you coming in there with $5 less, $7 less, for $4 or $5 less, whatever you charging, and it's less than what they're seeing, they're gonna listen to you. Especially, you're coming with great referrals, you coming with a professional, you coming with great references, you coming with a professional business, you know what you're talking about, you got some a lot of time the people that I talk to and train, they got a lot of history in the industry. They've been doing it. Maybe they've been a caregiver, maybe they've been a nurse, maybe they've been a medical assistant or something like that, a phlebotomist. So you have some type of knowledge in the industry, you have a history. So when you're presenting this stuff, they see that your company is just as good as the company is charging 10, maybe 3, 5, $10 more, but they didn't know you existed. You know what I mean? They didn't know there was companies out there that they can find that can provide the same level of care, license, care that they can charge. They can, if they got long-term care insurance, they can use their long-term care insurance to pay you, and they didn't know that, so that gives you an advantage. So it's a lot of opportunities out here with this aging population, and obviously because you in this program, we're gonna be discussing home care, assisted living, and placement, and then eventually consulting. It's a lot of opportunity for all of this stuff right in your backyard. And like I said, you don't need the biggest facility. You just one person who trying to start a business, right? Obviously, you don't want to work for nobody else, and you don't want to be on nobody else's time, and you want to actually build wealth. So when you think about like a franchise, a Bright Star, for example, that franchise, it's usually more than one person that they're trying to build wealth from this actual company, or it's a wealthy person who already got money who bought the franchise to build more wealth. So what they want and what they need and the amount of clients that they need and the size of their business that they needed to be for them to be successful is a lot larger than yours. So you don't need, like I'm trying to say, you don't need 50, 100 home care clients. You don't need 20, 30 bed facilities. You could get a 8 to 10 bed facility, have 10 to 20 home care clients, and doing 2 to 5 placements a month, and consulting. You got $1 million business. I just gave you $1 million business right there. So, and that's not hard. That's a nice size single family or two that's a well polished home care service that you've been out in the community building and developing relationships, um, and really going out into community. And I'm gonna say this real quick while I'm thinking about it. Like when I went to we've been doing we've been really going back into the community lately. Like I got a new community liaison and she's been going back into the community doing some stuff that we haven't done in a while, like some of the basic ground level work, like boots on the ground, back going to facilities, reintroducing our stuff. These facilities are telling us, these rehab centers in my market are saying like, yo, y'all the first people to be here in a long time. Like nobody's been doing this, like coming and passing out brochure. Like nobody's doing that, and I'm sure nobody's doing that in their market because everybody's trying to do the stuff online. The money is offline. Everybody can try to sell you, oh, like we run ads and stuff like that, but the money is offline. The money, the relationships are in person. When you walk into these rehab facilities, when you walk into these nursing homes, and you meet these you walk into the nursing home, everybody's scared to like I say this shit all the time, and nobody. It seems like I say, so how many? What you been doing? Nobody. If I say what you been doing for marketing, it's, oh, I can't find no clients. What you been doing for marketing? Um, I posted stuff on Facebook. I ran a Facebook ad. I did something like I emailed some people. I called a couple people. But you got a license. You got a license. Home care business, but you ain't did nothing beyond making some phone calls, posted something on some ads, created a website that nobody knows exists because you're not putting no money behind it on Google. How do anybody know you're there? All you have to do, even if you got a full-time job, you could schedule one. You could take one day out. I probably can't take one day out the week, but a lot of people work from home, especially in Maryland. Uh, Spend that whole day hitting facility. You could probably, if you start at 9 and go till 5 o'clock to when people start, start taking calls, ain't taking calls or taking visits anymore. But them caseworkers is not there no more. You could hit 10 of them. You could hit 10 of them a day in one day. And if you're really serious and you really focus, and you could really develop some strong relationships. Not in that one day, but you could really begin to say, "Hey, I'm here. This is my material. This is what I'm doing. I'm pleased to meet you." Look them in their eyes, shake their hands, get their actual card to the case manager or social worker. All you got to do is walk in there and say, whether it's a home care, whether it's a nursing home, a rehab, or some physician's office, or whatever they deal with seniors. You walking in there and asking for the social worker. That's all you got to do. They're gonna say, "Hey, 1 second, boom," and they're gonna send you to their office, or they say they're not there. They're gonna give you their contact information, and then you start following up. But I just wanted to make this point clear that when we recently we probably put another 200 brochure racks. I'll put all the links and stuff in the private group. But the brochure racks, the business cards in our marketing folder that we like to put out in these locations, and they were saying nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to their facility. Nobody's doing it no more. Like they said, people used to come, but everybody's trying to do everything online. So there's a huge opportunity to get back in the community and start meeting people face to face, shaking hands, and building relationships. And remember, if I don't say nothing else about this, it only take one or two good referral sources that like you and want to do business with you, and they're gonna keep sending you leads. They're gonna keep sending you clients because they get them all day. If you're in a rehab and it's a nice size rehab, they probably